day everyone, good afternoon or good morning, depending on when you get to see this video. Today we'll be discussing a DIY on how to GitHub, brought to you by Ndu Systems. I hope this tutorial will help you guys have more understanding as to why we can use GitHub for our career, for our organization that we're currently working for, or if you want to start up your own business and you would also like to collaborate with many different people on different. Okay, so you might be asking yourself, how do I get Git? Well, you get Git in following like 3-4 steps, if I can put it like that. You just go to desktop.github online on your Google Chrome or whatever search engine that you favor, and then you download that executable, and that executable will give you the easy steps. So you first select the two options, which I believe you will need the credential manager, which will allow your desktop to communicate with the web server that you will choose, and Git will be able to communicate with that guy and say, hey, this machine is coming from an authenticated user that you know. Alright, so the second one is to ensure that you run Windows command prompts. So basically Git is a command prompt friendly language, and you can push, pull, and do all the stuff that we're going to discuss in this tutorial using your command line. It's that black screen. It feels very legacy, but it's actually a very powerful tool if you are not a person that likes to click a lot of things. You just write a simple single sentence and it does a lot of heavy lifting for you. And then you will click your finish, and just like that, in 3 steps you have Git installed on your machine. Next, I would like to discuss about what actually Git is. So Git in its entirety is basically a way that we can work with other developers in the software space, in the software development space, and we are able to get feedback from people who are not even at our desk or over the shoulder looking at our source code. So there are multiple Git strategies, that's what they're called, which is a way that people go about using Git in their organization. And by no means does this mean that your way of using Git is wrong and my way of using Git is better. It's just a way, and you can find millions of Git strategies out there, and you just use what works for you. Okay, so over here I'd like to just simplify the fact that you are at this point reaching here and you haven't used Git in a day in your life. So you came across this video on YouTube, and now you will start using Git, right? That is the perfect world scenario. Of course, you install Git as I've shown you in the previous slide, and now your current project has been tracked with a master version. So what does a master version mean? It means that all the code base that you have built, they stem from this branch, which is the master branch. And then everything that you will want to enhance or take away from the branch, that will be pulled by individual developers, which in this case we have developer A and developer B working on the same master branch. So now if developer B did a change on day God knows when, then master will be of this version and not this version anymore. And keep in mind that the moment we move from this version to this one, yes, we may have omitted some files or created new files and added new methods in our classes or anything like that, but Git actually still has this version. So meaning that our rollback can be done very effortlessly, if I can put it like that. Cool. So now let's take developer A's journey, for example. So developer A says, hey, I'd like to start working on something on this branch because this linear over here represents our timeline to production. So developer A says, hey, I'd like to work, and working on this method, I also have method 1, method 2, which may be a naming convention for developer A's company. Do not blame people's naming words, if I can put it like that. But then, developer B over here does his changes on this same file, which is method 2, and I'd like to uh, give a raise on the conflict matter. So many people do not understand how conflicts arise, but it's not anyone's fault. It's just as simple as saying, oh, hey, you and developer A and developer B actually worked on the same file and they changed the same lines of code. So now what Git wants to know is which line should it consider. Is it the line that you as developer A have put in, which is later than developer B, or should developer B review his code so that your code can work better with his? So after all of that has been taken out of the way, and pointing fingers does not help anyone because the software still remains broken. So just fix the software, guys. So over here, what we have an agreed upon approach, then we do a merge commit. So a merge commit also comes to the politics of things of who is actually supposed to solve conflicts in the organization. Well, in this case, if you know about round robin, which is first in, first out, it also applies over here. The last one to get the issue is the person that needs to solve that issue. In this case, the issue is a conflict. So it's either you pick up a phone or you do a pull request, of which developer B may be contacted in order to have input on the method that is in question and you want to have merged into master. All right. So now that you've agreed on this strategy, on this conflict resolution, you are then able to push your changes to master. So now master started from here and now it has been evolved into this piece of code. And now you do the very same practices over and over. You find conflicts, you solve them out, you merge them, you make sure that master is able to perform the way that it's supposed to perform locally and on the server once pulled by a different machine. Then after this, where GitHub stops, unfortunately, right now, is when you are hosting to production. Over there, you can use a hosting provider of your choice. Alright guys, I've shown you how to install Git and why you need to use Git and how it can help you with your day-to-day programming and conflicts resolution of code being overridden by other people. Alright, so over here I'll show you how to use it in simple terms, and I'll make sure not to overrun so that I don't overload you with information. So basically, we have something called remote repositories, which are online Git softwares. So this is accessible through the web server, which will be hosted and have the Git software, which is similar to your local host. So your local host can either use the command line, or you can have a desktop client assistant over there. All right. So moving on, the technical terms that are involved in Git are very simple, and once you practice them rather than try to understand what they mean, they make sense and you will get along very well. So the initial one, in order to start a repository, we have something called a Git repository, which is basically a folder where your .git file will reside. So your .git file is accessible or is created by using the get init command, which of course will be through your command line. And then after that, we have a commit and staging of files. So each time that you make a change to a file, a commit is recorded by Git, and this commit is tracked, and it also enables Git to be able to roll back to the previous change that you did. And upon doing a staging, and now to stage, it allows us to pick different files that we feel are able to make a significant change, whether you are updating a folder that has multiple what you call multiple methods in it that are related, but some of the methods look ready to be pushed to production as soon as possible. Then you can stage 2 out of 5 methods, and the other ones will be remaining in the commit stage, meaning that Git is still tracking that they are being changed unless they have been discarded. Alright, so as mentioned on the other slide, the Git repositories are where the Internet of Things, and you'll host your Git repo on the web. So you can use GitHub, which is free, and Bitbucket, which I believe is also free for a limited number of people in your team. Alright. So we also have a branching strategy, which means that you will be able to make a copy of the master branch into your own branch, and this will allow you to solve problems in a more freestyle environment and be able to utilize your own workflows that you may have found either on the internet or your best practices without breaking existing code or legacy code in the long term. So how does this help you? This will help you if there is a production error that is needed. You can actually switch from your branch into the master branch and solve that issue as in the shortest time, instead of reverting all the changes that you have done on the master branch if you had not created a branch on your own. Alright, so upon being ready to merge your branch in, we do a merge, which is taking the current changes that are from master and pushing them down into your current branch, and then making sure that you resolve all the conflicts that you have, and then you will be pushing those changes into master. But the best practices that have been put into place is that people need to do pull requests. Now, pull requests as a concept, it seems very daunting of a task, but once people get used to it, it actually becomes part of the culture in an organization. So a pull request is a way for you to get other people to come and see what you have done with your code, and they will be able to advise you if this will be ready to be merged into master or not. And it also gives you an opportunity to learn on the fly. So many people have many ways of being critical of what other people do, and as a developer, I would say that pull requests build your confidence and make you actually be able to have a voice as to other people have a view of what you are able to produce and what you're capable of producing in the future. So pull requests work in double-sided ways, and we need to take a very good advantage of that opportunity. Alright, thank you very much guys for sticking out to this to the end of this video, and we'll be making a lot of these how-to DIY videos, especially to help people get ahead with their careers, with their school and everything. So we want to cater for a broad audience. We're not looking for professionals only. We also encourage people in university, people in high school who are looking to actually just skip university as a whole and start going on to courses, Udemy courses, and start hacking and getting employed in the software industry as a software developer. Because guys, really, it is very simple to actually become a developer, but not everyone is meant to develop. That's what they say. Have a good one.